In this video, I'm going to demonstrate the use of the Precor selectorized machine chest press. This primarily targets the chest or pectoral muscles, the triceps, which are the elbow extensors in the back of the upper arm, and the anterior deltoid or shoulder muscles, which act as stabilizers during the movement. A couple of things about the setup first. You want to make sure that the seat height is set such that the handles line up roughly with your armpit crease, or just slightly below the tops of the shoulders. If your chest press machine has adjustable handles, I would suggest setting them right to the very back position to maximize the stretch under load, or the eccentric range of motion, as that's going to be quite potent for purposes of muscle growth. From there, the things to think about are, I would suggest warming up with one set of around about 8 repetitions at around 50% of your work set weight. Do a second warm-up set of maybe 4 reps at around 75% of your work set weight. And then finally, a potentiation or feeler set of 2 at the work set weight itself. Rest for 2 to 3 minutes and then go into your work sets. About 3 sets for these, somewhere in the wider 8 to 15 repetition range, making sure the technique is nice and consistent rep to rep. You want to accelerate during the concentric phase, full lockout, and then go nice and slow, controlling the eccentric, so really decelerating as the handles come back towards you, using your chest muscles. Ideally, you want to pause for a full second in the deep stretch position before then performing the concentric phase of the next rep. So I'm going to get into the machine now and demonstrate a few reps and just talk through a couple of key pointers. Okay, so I'm in the machine. I've just set up the seat height so that the handles here are roughly in line with my armpit crease. The handles are set right to the very back position so that I can get the biggest possible loaded stretch for the chest. Now, in terms of grip, generally speaking, a closer in grip with the elbows tucked in tighter to the torso will have more of a triceps bias, so you'll be able to use your triceps more, which isn't a bad thing at all. If you want to limit the involvement of the triceps a bit more to get a little bit more bias for the chest, I would suggest maybe a mid grip. You can also go for a super wide grip, which is going to limit the involvement of the triceps and more heavily involve the chest. But going super wide, you may find that your range of motion is quite limited. So I would suggest, for most people trying to hit the chest, somewhere between a close and a mid grip. You want to make sure that the handles are resting as far back in the palm heel as possible. Keep the elbows slightly tucked so that they line up just a little bit underneath the wrists. So think of the forearms as being on a slight incline, if anything, rather than the elbow. Trying to avoid the elbows popping up and the shoulders rolling forward. You want to keep your butt and your upper back and shoulder blades tight to the seat behind you. So try and keep your shoulder blades glued to the seat. So imagine trying to squeeze the back support between your shoulder blades throughout the movement. Feet firmly on the floor. And then you're going to push out, full lockout with the elbows, accelerating on the way out. Push the chest out and control the eccentric phase of the exercise, decelerating as you come back in, and actively pushing your chest forward into the stretch on the way back. Gentle touchdown at the back end without losing tension, and then push back out again. So nice and controlled eccentric, big chest, gentle touchdown, and then back out, full lockout, and again nice and smooth during the eccentric phase. And that's the exercise. Again, I would aim for around 3 sets, somewhere in the wider 8 to 15 repetition range. Try and keep each repetition such that they almost look identical rep to rep. So nice, slow and controlled eccentric, nice and punchy on the concentric with a full lockout. Allow the chest to stretch right at the back end, pause in that stretch position before going for the next rep.